Oopsie. Hi, welcome to Coffee with Connie. I forgot to add myself to the stream. Hey, things happen sometimes. I also realized right before going live, I need to redo my intro for my Coffee with Connie lives so they'll have the Halloween theme too. So let's see. We have Samantha and Brenda with us. How are y'all doing today? And what are y'all currently working on? And what do y'all have in y'all coffee cups today? Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, this is my candy corn knitted hat. Y'all be seeing a lot of my makes for Halloween beanies. Oh, okay, hold up, Caribou. Nancy, that's it. Yay, I got it! Finally. How are you doing today, Nancy? And also Alice, how are you? What are y'all working on? And what do y'all have in y'all coffee cups? Give me the coffee details. Oh, wait. So today's live is going to be a little different than how I typically do my crochet, my coffee with Connie lives. Of course, we're gonna have typical chit chat. Um, have some conversation about different topics. But I'm trying to start incorporating where there's more of a main topic on my lives. So that is something you're going to start seeing more of this month. It may not be on every live, but I am trying to incorporate it. Um, so today we will be talking about knitting needles. Because on Monday's live, I had a lot of people asking questions about knitting needles. So I figured that would be a good thing to talk about today. And I have my knitting needles by me. So, you know, I can show y'all some of the differences with knitting needles and if y'all have questions. So that is one thing that we are going to be discussing today. Like I said, along with some other things. Um, I'm going to be telling my typical jokes. Um, and I do have some stuff that I want to get y'all feedback on and some channel announcements that I'll be talking about too. But yeah. So I hope y'all are all having some good Java this morning. I see we also have Julia and Jennifer that joined us. How are y'all and what's in y'all coffee cup? It may not be coffee. Let's see. Yep, Nancy, I finally got it. For a while there, I'm like, oh no, oh no. I didn't think I was going to get it. And I'm like, I know it. Brenda says, I'm doing well, drinking water and making a breast cancer awareness bag designed by Jeannie of Butterfly Dreams. Awesome. For a while there, I was like, is my microphone plugged in? Sometimes I forget. Um, let's see. Alice says, I have a big coffee and I'm working on a turkey stuffy. It's Canadian Thanksgiving on Monday. Well, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. See, I have my kitty cat mug with my coffee. I have community coffee today with my cinnamon coffee creamer. Samantha says she's doing good. Julia has Dr. Pepper in hers. And Jennifer's drinking water and crocheting poppies. Awesome. All right, so y'all ready for some jokes? These are some Halloween ones. I thought they were cute. The first one is, how do you know vampires love baseball? Da-da-da-da. They turn into bats every night. And then the next one, this one's cute. What did the fishermen say on Halloween? Trick or trout. Trick or trout. Yes. Instead of getting a treat, you get trout. Could you imagine someone putting a fish in your candy bag? Okay, next one I have is why are ghosts so bad at telling lies? Because you can see right through them. And here's another cute one. Where do baby ghosts go during the day? Day scare. Instead of daycare, day scare. And the last joke for today is, what did the mother ghost say to the baby ghost as they drove down the street? Buckle your sheet belt. Instead of seat belt, sheet. I hope y'all enjoyed those jokes. Let's see, Nancy's saying, I'm sipping on some peach seltzer. I'm done with coffee for the day. I'm at work currently, but when I get home, I'll be working on a granny square bag for a bat mitzvah gift. Ooh, nice. Brenda likes the jokes. Yay. Brent, um, Brenda with Crochet Therapy got me on the joke kick. Um, because when we first did our very first Southern Crocheters live, she did the dad joke thing, and I'm like, oh, I like this. I'm going to start adding some jokes to my lives. Which, speaking of which, um, me and Barbara were supposed to do our Southern Crocheters live yesterday, and Brenda had a bad headache, and unfortunately, I asked her today if her headache went away. She still has a headache, poor thing. But we were talking yesterday evening, and our plans are, since we had to cancel the live yet again, we're going to go live the third Wednesday of this month, which, let's see what date that actually is. 1, 2, and 3. So that would be the 12th, October 12th. So how we're going to do it is we're going to go live at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to start at Barbara's channel. And we're going to talk about Halloween makes. Then, because we normally go live about 45 minutes, then when we get done there, we're going to go head live to my channel at 3 p.m. And we're going to do another Southern Crocheters live. And the topic for that one will be Thanksgiving makes. So it'll be a double dose of the Southern Crocheters on the 12th. So that's our plan unless something changes. Unfortunately, sometimes life happens, but that is the plan. So I have an unusual topic to talk to y'all about. And y'all probably going to be like, why is she talking about this? But this is some drama that's going on in my town. Oh, I see we have a Cuppy that joined us. How are you doing today, Cuppy? What are you working on? And what's in your coffee cup? Is it actually coffee or is it something else? All right. So my unusual topic that I'm talking about is garbage pickup. So in my town, they decided to change companies that that pick up the garbage, and there's been like all sorts of headache with it because you have some people that purchased an extra garbage can, and they ended up picking up the garbage cans that they weren't supposed to because people actually invested in it. It's supposed to be theirs. And they took the wheels off of them. Then they picked up some of the businesses and apartment complexes. They picked up their dumpster, and they didn't have a dumpster. I mean, I don't think it was any longer than a week, but they went at least a few days without a dumpster. So they were like having to put their garbage in trash bags on the ground. And I mean, it was just like this big mess. And then the first time that they were supposed to pick up, they didn't show up that day. They were behind, so they didn't come to follow until the following day. But everybody was complaining because it's like nobody had their garbage picked up. And what's kind of bad, and this is something that I have concerns about with the new company. They only going to pick up our garbage once a week instead of twice a week. The other company would do it twice a week. Now one thing though, see the old company, they would only pick up what was in your garbage can. Like if you had like bags or something or branches, they wouldn't pick that up. They would have it where like the city came to take care of that. So a lot of times it was sitting there for a while. Where with the new company, you can have like two trash bags along with your garbage can. But what's bad is, animals get into garbage bags and it kind of promotes people digging in your garbage more. But yeah, that's our garbage drama. Like I said, an odd topic to talk about, huh? Let's see. I see Kathleen joined us. How are you today, Kathleen? What are you working on and what's in your coffee cup? Oh, actually, you answered. What she has water in her cup. Cuppy has some coffee and she's working on a graph gan. And let's see, everyone's saying hello. All right. So I have something that I want to get y'all feedback on. And I did make a post yesterday evening on my community page and also in my Facebook group. But I'm gonna kind of like make sure y'all understand what I mean by it. It was kind of hard to put it in words like that. So I kind of want to explain it better to y'all. Oh, hey, Anita, how are you today? What are you working on and what's in that coffee cup? So basically, y'all know how I do my Monday lives where I have a topic. Okay, I'm not going to change anything with that. It's going to stay the same. But I know like there's some people that don't watch lives at all. Some people just they do not like lives. Or people have busy schedules. They may not have the time to watch a live, which typically when I go live, I do an hour and a half. You know, or sometimes people catch lives when they can, but they can't catch every live. But they're still interested in the topic that I discussed. Or maybe they really would love to see the pictures that I share on those lives. So what I'm thinking about doing on top of my live, where I would make like a regular video, something that should probably typically be under 20 minutes, talking about the main points on the law that I covered on the live, like how I had done the live series on the weights of yarn, where I would just do a video explaining the difference in the weights, that type of thing. Basically, the main talking points that I had done on that live. Something more short and sweet that someone that don't watch lives or, don't have as much time can easily go to. And I also kind of feel like say you're searching for something, on a specific subject, you're more than likely going to want something that's just about that subject. Not all the chit-chatting in between. So that was some stuff that I started thinking about. And, I don't want to exclude people from that content if, they're not a live watcher. So I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like it's, because where my concern is because it is, repetitious. It's the same thing, discussed on a live. Um, but I do like, there being options when it comes to it. And just like how I do the little picture video, you know, there's people that may want to see those pictures that can't watch the live. So I'm thinking about taking the exact video that I include and make a regular video with just the pictures. It won't even have like my intro or anything, or me talking like how I do on the finished projects video. Like I say, it'll be the exact video. That way it's just easy for me to upload it. It'll take me probably 5 minutes. So, like I said, let me know, are y'all cool with that? Um, do if you have an issue with it, let me know, I want to do things that y'all want, I want to do things to help y'all. And I will be making a video later today too. Um, to try to get, feedback too on it, because that's where I'm going to probably catch more feedback from the people that don't really watch lives. Um, but it was just something that started weighing on me, and I was like, because I felt like, it's kind of excluding some people. And it, and like I said, yarn weights is an important topic, people may want to know more about it, that's not going to watch the live, or like, after the new year starts, I'm going to be talking about yarn fibers. And I wouldn't even say like knitting needles, like how I'm going to talk about that today. Um, but I actually did a video already talking about knitting needles, and I did put the link in today's live if anyone wants to catch that video. I may mention some things that don't get mentioned here today. Or if someone wants the condensed version, there it is. But yeah, my last live, a lot of people started like, because we kind of like talked, a little about knitting, and people started having some questions, and I didn't have my knitting needles around me, and I started thinking this morning, I'm like, let me talk about knitting needles. Sorry, y'all. That would be a good topic for today. Let's see. Let me read what everyone's saying. We have Vicky that joined us, and she's from Illinois. I have been to Illinois. When I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Great Lakes. So I did spend some time in Illinois. So how are you today, Vicky? And or what's in your coffee cup today? Anita saying mellow yellow and a ghost wind spinner. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Monday lives. For those of y'all that like wind spinners, I did share some patterns for wind spinners. And that is another thing that I want to bring up too, now that I'm thinking about it. Like the same thing for those that don't have time to catch the lives and you're interested in patterns. All the links that I share are in that description box. You technically have access to the patterns without watching the live. Although I would love it if you watched the live, but you have there's easy access to them in case you can't. Okay. Brenda says it sounds great. Nana Michelle, I'm sorry, not Michelle. Nana Kathleen says I rarely catch a live because not really into lives. Doing small videos on subjects like how to keep knitting from rolling or snap pit of the live would be great. Yeah, see, and that is one thing, because there are people, they don't like lives, and typically the main reason people don't like lives, people don't like all the hello so and so, hello, and I get it. I do, but that is something that's kind of a catch 22, you know, because yeah, it is kind of lack of content and you know, but in the same aspect, when people are at a live, they typically like to be greeted. They like to feel included. They like to be interacted with. And it's just, to me, it's friendly, and I don't want somebody to feel like I'm ignoring them or anything like that. And the other thing that typically you tend to hear is the, lack of content. Um, which I am trying to do more and more to make my lives have more yarn, knitting, crochet content to them. Because I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all have noticed the differences because initially when I went live, I really didn't have much yarny content. It was more getting to know you questions like, basic stuff like what's your favorite color, that type of thing. But that is, and I know that, and another thing too, lives are long. Where, like I said, typically I'm live an hour and a half, and some channels they're like live like 3 or 4 hours, and it's more time consuming to watch, and a lot of people like that short and sweet. Let's see. Cuppy says she thinks it's a great idea. Awesome, awesome. Vicky says, I'm doing okay. I'm drinking hot tea. Ooh. Yeah, it's that time of the year, the hot beverages. So yeah, I just kind of, wanted to get y'all input on that subject. I really, overall, I figured, most people would be fine with me doing that. My only real concern was the repetitious, because it's basically like posting, the same thing twice. But I haven't heard anyone's telling me yet that they have a problem with it. So, but like I said, I still want to get some more feedback, get people's input, that type of thing. All right. Another thing that I want to try to do, and I'm planning to start working on this week. I'm going to try to do it my very first knit along. And if y'all recall a while back, I was going to do a tutorial on how to do a striped beanie. And, I did like film part of it. But I don't know, like, yes, last night I was, playing around on YouTube, and I'm seeing stuff like knit along, crochet alongs. And, a lot of people seem to like those. And I'm like, I'm gonna turn this into a knit along. Where basically probably the month of October, once a week I'll post a video. Each video will cover about a fourth of the beanie. And then at the end, those that participate, we can share our pictures, and I'll make a video sharing y'all pictures. So what do y'all think about that? Sounds cool to y'all? And then after that knit along, I want to do another knit along. And I know a lot of y'all have been wanting to see how I make my beanies, my beanie designs. So what I'm going to try to do is design a pattern, and I'm probably going to do it like a Christmas one, since Christmas is coming up. So I'll probably do something Christmas for that knit along, and basically show y'all how I do my beanies. Now there are different techniques on doing color work, and there may be easier ways than how I do mine, but this is how I know how to do it and how I learned. But yeah, I I think instead of doing it like a tutorial, I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna do that as a knit along, which it's still gonna basically be a tutorial, but it'll be broken down. And if you want to join in whenever during the knit along, you can, and and it'll still be there. Like if you want to make it afterwards. Um, and probably what I'll try to do is I'll probably try to write up the pattern and put it as a free pattern on my Ravelry page. That way, y'all have access to the pattern too for that one. Um, Now, the stripe one I'm doing, I don't think I'm going to write up a pattern, um, because I think for the most part, it's pretty easy to follow along without a pattern. But if y'all want me to do a pattern, I could do that too. Let me know. But yeah, that's something that I'm gonna try to do. Because one thing too, like for instance, like this week I didn't do any knitting. I've been doing more crochet, trying to get my crochet makes in, and I may not really work on my peacock shawl during the holiday season. So I may, I don't know how, if I'll really be having my knitting Friday videos, between now and then, or you might see one kind of here and there. So I was like, I want to do something knitting related to kind of replace it until I get back to like my typical certain days crochet, certain days knitting. Um, but yeah, those were some ideas that came in my mind last night. My mind's always going. Let's see. Kathleen says her son was born at Great Lakes Naval Station. Cool. Oh, yeah. And it's funny, like, sometimes I'll put on like videos on YouTube, and like when I see how much the base has changed and like stuff they have now, I'm like, we didn't have that. And like the barracks are a lot nicer now, because now it's like, the barracks, it seems like they put little kitchen areas. We didn't have that. Kathleen says my attention tends to drift on lives. Honestly, whenever I watch lives, I'm bad for that. Yeah. Like I'll start watching and then like I get distracted and then like all of a sudden I just kind of disappear. And it's not um anything intentional, but you know, like Frank starts talking to me or something and I get distracted. Oh yeah, Brenda's in. Yes. Kathleen, especially the stripe beanie, it's a beginner should be able to, and I'm going to do everything I can to thoroughly explain it, you know. So pretty much as long as you know how to do the knit stitch, purl stitch, knit two together, you should be able to do the knit along on that one. Now, whenever I do the like the color work, I mean I'll do everything I can to explain it thoroughly, and overall, it it is basically the same thing. It's the same stitches. It's just you have like like it's the carrying the floats and incorporating the new color that kind of is a little different. um but overall, I do think I can explain it where a beginner probably could do it. um at least that's my goal. I'm hoping that they can. Julia says would love it, but I'm new at knitting and it will be and asking if it will be beginner friendly. Yeah, basically what I just said, Julia. Because I especially think a beginner knitter should be able to follow the striped beanie. Because the only real difference between that and basic knitting, is the fact that you change colors, which I will show y'all how to do that. And I do have tutorials on that already in my knitting playlist. Um and the other thing that will probably maybe a little tricky would be when you get to the decreases and you're working on double pointed needles. Now there is another way that you could also do the decreases, where you would do the magic loop method. Um I may try to show both on the knit along. Um Let me know if y'all have if y'all want me to show both ways, or just the way that I normally do mine. I never actually did the magic loop for the decreases before, but I should be able to, figure it out, do it. Um, but I lost my train of thought. Sorry. But yeah, that besides that part can be a little trickier, but I, I'm pretty sure that y'all should be able to get it. Awesome, Julia. Julia just learned the knit stitch from me. That makes me feel so good when y'all learn something from me. Okay, so you know those stitches, Kathleen. You've never used DPNs. DPNs can be kind of awkward. That's why I'm kind of thinking about trying to show the magic loop method too. And what I'm probably gonna do if I show both ways, I'll use a lifeline. So then after I do it one way, then I can go back, to the lifeline and then show it the other way. Let's see. Brenda says, don't like DPNs. I do decrease with my circular needles. So how do you like? It's like when you're doing like beanies, it gets too tight. How do you do it? Like, are you referring to doing beanies without the DPNs? I'm kind of curious because that's usually why you transfer it, because the circulars get too tight to do the decreases. Okay. And let me check my notes. What else I wanted to mention to y'all that I haven't mentioned yet? And then we'll start talking more about needles. Okay. Another thing too, I plan to do a video today showing all of my amigurumis. One of my Yorny friends, whenever I had asked for suggestions and stuff, what people would like to see, someone had asked me if I could do a video showing all of my amigurumis in one video. So, and I don't I don't think I have more than 20 amigurumis. It's not like I have like an extreme amount or anything. So I will be doing a video showing them all in case y'all haven't seen them before. Um, but yeah, amigurumi. Let's see. Brenda says, when I do beanies, I use circular needles and change my cables. See, and because I mean, do you have like a really, really tiny cable you're using? And okay, we have Angel Renee that joined us. How are you? And what are you working on? What's in your coffee cup? She's saying I don't even know how to knit in the round. Like I said, on the knit along, I will show that. Um, like I said, pretty much everything that you need to know, I will show y'all, and I'll try to explain it as thorough and clearly as I can. So, like I said, I'm pretty confident. Like I said, if you know the knit, stitch, purl, stitch, and knit two together, that you should be able to follow along. Now, whenever I do the one like from one of my designs that's like color work. Now you will also need to know how to knit front and back. Um, because usually after the brim, I've started with my designs where I increase because it tends to be more snug through this area. So when I started opening it up more, and especially like if you have a tighter tension, the hat may not fit you without the increases. Oh, thank you, Angel Renee. Yeah, I'm having fun with the Halloween thing. Kathleen says I don't know how to knit in the round either. Like I said, all that, you know, you should be able to learn from the knit along, and it's a good chance to learn some new things, and hopefully afterwards y'all accomplish making a beanie and knowing how to change colors on a row. Jennifer says I do beanies in the round also. Okay, that's what. Yeah, I don't have the real tiny. So let's start talking about knitting needles. Okay, so well, let me show this first. Remember how I tell y'all don't skimp when it comes to circular knitting needles? This was my first set of circular knitting needles. Hold up, let me turn my green screen off. It's kind of okay. Y'all can see it better now. But that was my first set. And let me show you just how flimsy. You see how I'm bending it? And if you hopefully y'all can see. But it's kind of like you can see that it indents it bending like that. This cord is so flimsy. And what happened was while you're knitting, this would start to split where it connects. And that's why I say be careful with cheap, sets or needles. Like this came from eBay from China. I got like the absolute cheapest I could find. Big mistake. You really kind of want to invest in a better brand. And after this experience, what I did was I went to Facebook groups and I asked people their opinion. Like what was an affordable, because I'm cheap. I try to get things as cheap as I can. And I wanted to know what was a decent brand that wouldn't happen to, but not too pricey. And the recommendations that I got were, now everyone tends to say that Chow is the best, but they're pricey. And also Aldi is another one, and they're pricey too. The good sets that are more affordable is Knit Picks and Knitter's Pride, and like these are Knit Picks. And most of mine are Knit Picks. Now, my double pointed are some that I got off of Amazon, like a no name brand, and like some of the smaller ones that I use for socks. Those, I bought individuals because I needed a certain size I didn't have. Those are actually the Chow ones. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some other needles, circular needles out there that are good quality. But those were the ones that I heard mentioned like the most. So be careful when it comes to that, because I don't want y'all to waste y'all money like I did. But in the same aspect too, if you're not sure if you're going to really get into knitting and you're serious about knitting, you may not want to invest as much money either. You may want to kind of go cheaper to see if you like it. Oh, hi Angela. How are you today? She says she's drinking water and working on her cancer ribbon and bags right now. Awesome. All right, let's see. Kathleen saying I'll buy a good set when I can afford them on very tight budget as retired. And trust me, I get that. That's why I went really cheap. And I bought mine on Amazon Bamboo. That's another thing too. Starting off, they do recommend bamboo. And most of y'all probably know this is bamboo. That's bamboo. It helps when it comes to dropping stitches because it has a rougher surface. So the stitches kind of stick to it more. Where with the aluminum, let me get one out. And this is a double pointed needle right here. For those that don't know what a double pointed needle is. See, it has the point on this end and on that end. It's just a straight needle with the points. This is a double pointed needle. This is aluminum and it's slicker. So your stitches are more prone to going whoopsie off your needles. And that's a pain. Drop stitches are the biggest headache with knitting. And expect them. If you're new to knitting, you're gonna get drop stitches. You learn little things that help prevent them. And I do have a video on helpful tips when it comes to that. I should have put the link down. I didn't think about that. But it is in my helpful tips playlist for knitting. But anyway, and the more experienced you get, you learn to prevent them more. But even experienced knitters still get them from time to time, And there are ways to fix them. I do have some tutorials on teaching how to fix it, like when you're doing garter stitch or stockinette stitch, to teach you how to fix it. And another helpful thing to do, too, if you're new, you might want to use lifelines. And I have a tutorial on that, too. So let's see. Julia's saying, that's the one I had first. I didn't like them. I like Knitter's Pride. And like I said, and some stuff too with needles, it's a personal preference. What I like, you may not like, and vice versa. Because technically, I really did start off knitting using aluminum needles. I had those real long ones I had gotten from a yard sale. And that's what I used first when I started playing around learning the stitches. Let's see. Jennifer says, I have both cheap sets and best sets. I only use the cheap ones if I'm not doing a magic loop. I use my best ones for specifically knitting and techniques. Yeah, that's one thing too, like my double pointed here. This isn't the best set. I mean, it does the job. I really wish I had a better quality set. I don't find like these are as smooth to work with. Okay, so you can, okay, sorry. So I mean, you do have your double pointed needles, and you can work like smaller projects, like typically like dishcloth, maybe a scarf, smaller things that the stitches will fit on these needles. But when you start doing like bigger projects, like shawls, blanket, you need circular knitting needles. And really, most things that you do, like when you're doing like regular knitting, you can do that on circular needles. Um, Really, my double pointed needles, the only thing I use them for is when I do my decreases on my beanies. Like, when I have to, take transfer to that. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna show you my first set that I got when it came to um circular knitting needles, and these are interchangeable. And I do have some of my needles that I don't have in here at the moment, but you can still tell what they look like. Okay. And the way this works, you have these cords. Hi, Kat. How are you today? What are you working on, and what's in your coffee cup? And I'll show you how this attaches. Give me just a moment. Find that. Okay. So with the interchangeables, you have this little like metal piece here, and this is how you attach them. You take the needle, oops, wrong way. You screw it into the cord, and then you'll have a hole that goes through. It's a little hole. You stick this through it like this, and you want to grab it and just give it a good tighten. Because if you don't do that, sometimes your needle will start like unscrewing on you. So you want to make sure it's good and tight, but not too tight where you can't like get it all undone. And basically you do the same thing on the other side. And like I said, there's a technique to work in the round. And like I said, if you're working in the round, you need this. You need the circulars. Like I said, you could do flat knitting on the circulars. And you have different sizes for the cord. Now my longer one that I use for like blankets and shawls, it's being occupied. So I don't have that one by me, but it's just longer. Like I said, you have this one. This is the size that I like to use for making beanies. I find it's easier to work with your stitches moving over. But yeah, that's the size I use. I'm gonna have to try to find me a tiny one, like what Brenda suggested. Suggested that way. I don't have to transfer to the double pointed needles anymore. But yeah, you have different sizes, and I know there's like an even longer one than what I have that a lot of people will use. Like stuff like ponchos, like even like really really like big projects where you have like a ton of stitches. Let's see. Let's see what everyone's saying. Nana Kathleen says, I started with the straight needles. I think I like circular better. And really, for the most part, I really find that circular's better. Like I said, double pointed needles, I rarely use. I only use it on my decreases. Let's see. Kat says she's drinking coffee and starting the Stephen West knit along shawl on needles. Awesome. Yeah, I was talking about earlier. I plan to start doing some knit alongs. Um, I plan to work on a striped beanie. Um, where basically it will be showing how to change colors at the beginning of a round. I want to start filming that. Like I plan to work on filming Friday. Hope I may be able to get it up on Friday, but I'm hoping I can at least get it up over the weekend for y'all, and I'll be posting. I'll have you do like a fourth of the beanie on one video, then I'll post the next portion in another the following week, and so on and so on. Um, Try to divide it over 4 weeks. Brenda says, I love my circular needles. I have different size cables for them. Awesome. Yeah, I love circular needles. I really do. Hi, Divergent. Your name is Crystal, right? I think it is. Hopefully, I'm not getting mixed up. Correct me if I'm wrong. How are you, and what are you working on? What's in your coffee cup? She's asking, do you suggest larger needles and yarn to get better acquainted with knitting? Um, I would probably, like I said, really, I like the circulars. I would probably say about a needle about this long, or like how my double pointed needles are. Like the really long ones, they get in your way unless you're doing like a bigger project. But really, if you're doing a bigger project, I really recommend circulars. Um, let's see. Brenda saying, I've tried several times using DPNs and it's too many needles in the way. That's what I mean by how it's awkward. Um, Now one thing, like I can transfer to DPNs. Like I said, like when I do a beanie and I get to the decreases, I've tried to start a project on DPNs. Like the first time knitting socks, I tried. I even invested in sock double pointed knitting needles, and I could not do it. I could not do it. um, like I said, there is awkwardness, and there are different techniques to doing things too, and on certain things there may be techniques that I don't know about. I've been knitting for let's see, I think about 3 years now. So I haven't been knitting like 20 years, and I'm still learning. um Angel Renee says, I am listening and doing bath time for my little ones. And let's see. Okay, everyone's saying hi. Okay. So yeah. So that's like with these. Let me get this out my way. Oh, one thing too I want to show y'all too. And this is something else that I love about knitting needles. The interchangeable ones. Okay, like say you're working on something and you have another project that you go to store, and it's calling for the same size knitting needles. Well, guess what? You can take your one project, or like you may be putting a project in timeout. You're tired of working on it. Where you take, oops, you take this off. Okay, and you have your current, your one project on here, and you have these little end caps here. And basically, you take the needles off. Oops, my hands are going awkward on me. And you just screw it on like that, where your project's protected by the end caps on each side. It's not going anywhere. And then when you're ready to go back to it, you just unscrew these off and put your needles back on. Awesome, huh? And that's one thing too. If you can afford interchangeables, I recommend interchangeables. Now, like I said, these are my long set of interchangeables. I tend to use these like whenever I do shawls and blankets. Um, but I personally find like when I make beanies, I prefer the short ones. And I'll show you. These are the shorts because you have more room to work your stitches around because you're going like in a circular direction, and you see the difference. This one's short and this one's long. So there's that. Let me put this back up. Okay. So do y'all have any questions what I've talked about so far with the needles? Um, you have questions, let me know. Let's see. Yeah. Kat's an expert on knitting. Yeah, she has a lot of experience with knitting. Um, Gina with Knitting Turnpike is a very experienced knitter. Oh, Angel Renee, what it was when I went to show something, um, it kind of like I use a green screen, and sometimes it kind of turns things invisible. Like especially like say I show something green, you'll be able to see through it. I don't know why it did it on that because it wasn't green, but for some reason it did. So I wanted to make sure y'all could see everything. So I turned it off for right now while I was demonstrating. Angel Renee says I need some stoppers for my clover ones. Yes, you want end caps for your knitting needles. Um, like I said, now this really will protect you, but it is kind of a pain. Like you would have to take your needles off and put this on every time you sit it down. What I do, and I don't have it with me, but you have some of the other ones that you can just pop on at the end of your needle. Um, use end caps because what happens with your stitches. And another thing I recommend: pull your stitches down when you put it down. Because if you have your stitches towards the top of that needle and you set your work down, and even with an end cap, those end caps do pop off sometimes when you set it down. Those stitches can fall off and you get drop stitches. Drop stitches are a pain and a headache. We have Suzanne that joined us. How are you today, Suzanne? What are you working on and what's in your coffee cup? Yeah, today we're talking about knitting needles. Um, my last live, people started asking a lot of questions, so I thought that would be a good idea to get more into it on today's live to answer a lot of y'all questions. And on top of this, I do also have a video that I have the link in the description box of this live where basically I'm covering a lot of the same information on that video, and I might actually cover some other things that may not get mentioned today. Um, but yeah, welcome. Jennifer says I need more shorts. You mean like shorts like you wear? Oh, oh, I think you mean the short knitting needles. Gotcha. Yeah, and Kat, she's been knitting and crocheting since I was 12, but I learned new things too. And Kat, do you have anything you may want to add to some of the stuff that I've mentioned? Because I know like I said, you in a lot of aspects you have more knowledge on things than what I do. Kat says interchangeable needles, but I like the fixed needles better. Oh, you mean where they don't detach? Crystal says a hack from her great grandmother: if you drink wine with corks in them, save the cork and it's a free end cap. Yeah, that's a good idea. Kat says I use two 16-inch US 2/2.75 circulars when knitting socks. Yeah, I think that's the size that I think it's 2.75 millimeters that I use. I know it's 2 point something. It might be 2.25. I don't know. I have one ne- circular needle that I got for my socks. That's what I use. And it's the same one that the crazy sock lady recommends on her tutorial. And if y'all are interested in learning how to make socks, the crazy sock lady is the go-to place. She has excellent tutorials. Suzanne says, I'm working on Bod's post-virus shawl. I got my Crojo back. I'm having a can of Coke. Oh, I'm so glad you got your Crojo back. Yeah, that post-virus shawl, that's a beautiful pattern. I made that one recently. Kat says, I buy Knit Picks Caspian wood needles. Jennifer says, I have 9-inch cable needles for my socks and then change to longer cables when it's time to do the heel. See, like how I do my socks, I do with the circular. And then like when you get to the heel, the first time I did it, I because she shows you two different ways to do the heel part. The first time, you basically you keep it on the circulars, but like about half the stitches your heel port, I use a double pointed needle to work those stitches. And like typically you want a short one when you do it that way. So this is what I use, and I do have some stuff to tell you about these needles after I finish what I'm saying. So I did it that way the first time. But you could also just keep it completely on the circulars. Now, the crazy sock lady, she was saying that when you do it like stay on the circulars, it tends to get, be tighter and you may have trouble. But the second time I knitted a pair of socks, I kept it completely on the circulars, and I didn't have any problems with that. So that's good. I'm just gonna in the future. I'm keeping them on the circulars, and then you continue on with the circulars, and you get to the toe decreases, and I do the magic loop method for the toe decreases, which is basically, a circular knitting needle with a long cord. That's basically the process I use when it comes to making socks. Let's see. Cat saying, and Very Knit Pinks has great tutorials for knitting socks I used to. Yeah, she has a lot of good knitting tutorials too. A lot of times, like, certain techniques or stitches, I tune into her channel for that. Because I'm bad sometimes that if I haven't done a stitch for a while, I kind of need a refresher. Like, okay, which stitch is this? It's not that I don't know how to do the stitch, but like if I haven't made like an SSK, like slip knit in a while, sometimes I kind of gotta like review it. Um, you know, because there's some stitches that you do more often than others. And I may be knitting stuff and not do an SSK for quite a while. Let's see, Kat says, I tried 9-inch needles but felt I was knitting with toothpicks. So you're amazing, Jennifer. Suzanne saying I don't drink coffee or tea, so Coke is my weakness. Um, Kat says Coke is her weakness too. It used to be my weakness. Oh, I could drink me some Coca-Cola. But I haven't drank soda. I gave soda up completely. It's been like I think about 7 years now. Okay, let's see. Jennifer says they are so comfy to use, Kathy. It's really quick to work up. Sometimes I will use two sets of cables when doing the heels, as it's sometimes easier for me for trying one. And with socks, there's different methods when it comes to knitting socks too. But one thing I want to point out about these. So, like the first time I knitted socks, I broke two of these. I personally would not recommend, like the bamboo type, um, for socks. Like I said, I broke two. That's another reason that I prefer to keep it like using the circular needles on the heel. But yeah. And I wasn't too happy about it because it was like, you know, supplies or knitting needles aren't the cheapest. I was like, and I got these because I thought they were pretty. Okay, so I think I talked about all of my needles. And like I said, I showed y'all the DPNs. And that's one thing I do want to point out on that. Okay. How I tell you like with like hats, how I transfer to DPNs. You're using 5 knitting needles. See, like this set I got came, each size you get 5 needles. And basically, you have basically like a square. You have a fourth of your stitches on one needle, a fourth on the second, a fourth on the third, and a fourth on the fourth. And then the fifth one you use to work your stitches. But that's where, like, doing like that with double pointed needles, it is awkward. So let me get those back. And like I said, let me know y'all questions if y'all have questions on knitting needles. So how are y'all enjoying that I did this topic today? Are y'all enjoying this? Okay. Let's see. Kat is saying, with my 16-inch needles, I will put half of the stitches on front needle and half on back needle, 32, 32, and knit like I'm using 2 separate straight needles, but I knit in the round. And yeah, and you can or maybe use just 3 needles instead of 4 to divide your stitches up. But the main reason why like you transfer it is you don't have enough room to work your stitches on the circular. But like what Brenda said earlier, she has like a really tiny one that works for her to be able to do it. And I'm gonna have to try to look for me one. Because if I don't have to use double pointed, I'm not going to. Let's see, Jennifer saying, me and you will have to do a live one day to show various techniques. Talking to Kathy. Yeah, and like I said, with knitting, a lot of things, there's different techniques. Like how I do something may not be the way someone else does something, but we're getting the same result. Okay, Kat saying very interesting and yes, enjoyable. Brenda's liking it. Okay, good. Because like I said, normally I do I've been doing topics on Monday, and I have been like wanting to try to incorporate topics in my other lives, my Thursday and my Saturday. Um, so I'm trying to start doing that more. And it seems like people are enjoying how whenever I started doing topics, y'all seem like y'all really enjoy it. So I want to give y'all what y'all want. Um, but yeah, what was I gonna say? I'm bad for losing my train of thought. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, but that was one thing that I was kind of like, I'd love to get more into the topics, more things that y'all want to learn about, know about. And one great thing about lives is you have that interaction. So, it's easier to ask your questions. Um, so that, like I said, that's one awesome thing about lives. But yeah, that is something I'm trying to start incorporating more on the lives. Like whenever I have guest stores on Thursday and Saturdays, I want to try to find a subject that they want to talk about. That way, be someone that doesn't knit. It doesn't pay to have them come live with me and we're talking about knitting. They don't know nothing about it. So I want something like to get the topics like something that my guest stores has the passion for. Um, and you know, like I said, on Thursday and Saturdays, we will talk about some other things too. It's not going to be strictly, topic. We got to have fun too. But and that's the one thing. Like, okay, Saturday. I don't have a guest star scheduled for Saturday. Is there a topic that y'all would like me to talk about Saturday? Let me know. Um, See what we can come up with. But let's see. I really lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah. But if like I said, if y'all have questions about needles, let me know. I will be sharing a few Halloween patterns shortly. Um, Got to give y'all Halloween pattern fix. All right, let me pull up the patterns. I just realized normally I open my patterns like if I just have like 5. I forgot to do that. I think this is it. Give me just a second to get them. And like I said, if y'all have questions, about the knitting needles, just let me know. Okay. I'm noticing StreamYard changed. Normally it says share the button I need to press. It's saying present now. Okay. So here is a cute amigurumi Halloween black cat pattern by the Enchanted Ladybug. I love this pattern. This is very similar to that fall cat that I recently done, and Brenda Young also did that same fall cat pattern. It's by the same designer. They just basically changed it up a little bit to make it look Halloween. But isn't this cute? And she has her little broom. Which this is one that I may end up making. I have it bookmarked. Now, like one thing I did with like whenever I made the fall one, see like this one uses the safety eyes. I had found a pattern for cat eyes and I crocheted my own eyes and I didn't have the little nose piece. So I basically just embroidered a nose piece. I looked at like some tutorials to figure out how to do it. And like even like the collar. Well, this one just uses a simple button, but like the fall one used a sunflower. I crocheted the sunflower, but I mean, you could also maybe find some little small thing, maybe a maybe a jack o' lantern if you can get it small enough, and use something like that instead for the collar. All right, let's see. Here is a Halloween skeleton beanie by Crochet Addict UK. And look how cute. This is a better picture. I love like the Halloween beanies, as you can tell. All right, next one. This is a pattern I love. The Halloween top hat. And there's so much you can do with this. Um, I don't know if y'all had seen the top hat that I had made, like more of a New Year's one. And I think this is like basically the same pattern. If it's not the exact same, it's very similar. Um, but like I said, you could crochet different little appliques to add to it, or if you get some type of like embellishment, you could add to it. You can use this hat, the basic hat, for different holidays, do different things with it. Because if y'all recall the New Year's one that I did a Mardi Gras one. I also did a Patrick's Day one, but that the St. Patrick's Day top hat was a pattern for a St. Patrick's Day top hat. I mean, I love top hats because there's so much you can do with them. You can just have all sorts of fun. Okay. And next, this is a Halloween Tree of Spookiness by Christina Mershon. And I think this is cute. And like if y'all have like a little Christmas tree, or you know how you have like the little Easter trees, the white ones, you could take a tree like that and make these and have you a little Halloween tree. And the last pattern is Pumpkin Bunting by Jenny Entwistle. And I think this is cute. I love the Gorlin patterns. It's just so festive. And you see in here, they have it strung on the bookshelf. So, so cute. And these are all the patterns I shared, they're all free crochet patterns. All the links are in the description box of today's live if y'all are interested in them. Let's see, let me turn my green screen back on for y'all. Okay. And let's see what everyone's saying. Cat loves the cat witch. And y'all know me, I love my kitty cats. So cats, usually if I come across a cat pattern, I tend to share them. Even Brenda says it's on my to-do list, the black cat. Oh, wait till y'all see one cat pattern that I'm gonna be doing pretty soon for Halloween. Y'all gonna love this. When I saw this pattern on Etsy, I had to have it. Suzanne likes the kitty. Jennifer likes the white hat. Jennifer says, I like the top hat. Great for parties and dressing up. Exactly. Suzanne says, I'm not a content creator yet. I'm too shy. See, that was one thing, like, before I started my channel, I was scared about that because I'm a very shy person. And, I was like, am I going to be comfortable going in front of the camera? And especially like when I started going live. you know, I was scared because there's no do-overs on a live. Like how I messed up a little while ago, I kind of like, what do I say next? You know, it happens. And you just got to keep moving, laugh it off and keep on trucking. Um, you know, you when you're live, you're going to mess up, you know. Um, Suzanne saying, but I'm struggling to get my community tab, and maybe then I will be courageous enough. Yeah. And one thing with the community tab, it used to be you had to have a thousand subscribers, and like previously with my channel before I had mine, it drove me crazy not having one because I wanted to share things. Like if I had to cancel, a live or something, you know, and because that's where I usually post if I'm canceling a live or I have an important announcement, and I also tend to post in my Facebook group. But and the funny thing is, they changed it to 500 subscribers. And right whenever I went to get it with the 500 subscribers, I ended up reaching 1,000 subscribers like pretty much like a week or two afterwards. I was like, figures. Suzanne says, "Oh, that's a really cute idea." Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with a lot of patterns. You can get creative. You can kind of take part of one pattern and a part of another pattern, combine it. Which I do that a good bit, combining patterns. Jennifer says those pumpkins look good. Suzanne says I don't seem shy. In person, I'm very shy. Like if like y'all would run into me, in person, like y'all would probably be like, "What? She barely told me hi. She's not really talking to me." And it's not like I'm trying to be rude or anything. I tend to be quiet. But I'm also the type too, like when you first meet me, I'm very quiet. Um, now once I get to know you, then you can't get me to be quiet. Just ask the biscuit. Um, which and like I said, it does shock me though that like I'm able to be like this on camera, where and I'm able to show y'all my goofy side. So for some reason I'm comfortable talking to y'all, in front of the camera. Angel Renee says, I think because of today, I will try to cast on a beanie. Awesome. And like I said, probably over the weekend, I will have my knit along stripe beanie. I'll try to have the first portion of that posted for y'all. So look forward to that. Let's see, Gloria joined us. How are you today, Gloria? What are you working on and what's in your coffee cup? And my coffee's cold, y'all. And it's like right here. I wasted my coffee. Suzanne says, I'm exactly the same. I talk the ears of my family and friends. And like one thing, this is something like I struggle with a lot. Like knowing knowing what to say. Like I tend not to be a good conversation starter like in real life. Like you tend to like have to like talk to me, get me talking, where I'm not the type that will go up to someone and just like, you know, make all this conversation. And it's funny because with a YouTube channel, I have to, make conversation. And in a lot of ways, this really has helped me, you know, where it does make it easier now, to engage with people, in real life. I know I can be an oddball. But yeah, like I said, I am going to be doing a video today sharing all my amigurumi makes for those that haven't seen all of them before. I had a request for that. Also, I was talking about this earlier in the live. I'm thinking about like basically, I'm not changing anything on my Monday lives, so don't worry about that. But I know like not everybody always has time to catch a live, and there's people that don't like lives at all. Um, so I kind of want to take like my topics and condense it, and also do a video on it. So I'm hoping, that's something that y'all want. You know, like I said, let me know y'all input on that. Y'all can email me, and I did make a post on my community page and in my Facebook group, and I will be doing a video on this too today, so y'all can share y'all input one of those ways too. I mean, so far everyone seems to like this idea. I haven't had anyone like against it, and I think especially like those that aren't at lives often or don't go to lives, I think they really like it. It includes them to seeing that content. And also like it's kind of like how I did talked about the different yarn weights. You know, I, I can do a video talking just about yarn weights, sharing, that information, make it kind of sweet, short, to the point, quick reference, you know. So that is one thing that I am seriously considering doing, but I do want to hear y'all feedback um on it too. And like how I do the little picture videos on the lives, like how I've been asking people to send the Halloween makes, same type thing. Some people may want to see those pictures, but the same type thing, don't have time for lives, don't watch lives. Where I think I want to take that little video and make just like a regular video, just showing the pictures. Um, Basically, what you see on the live, that's exactly how it will be in a video. I won't have my intro on it. I won't talk on it. That way, it's easy for me to just upload it. Um, so I hope that's stuff that y'all would like me to do. But yeah, let me know y'all feedback. So those are two videos I want to do today. And like I said earlier, I have some knit alongs that I'm trying to put in the works. Also, trying to put in the works some lives talking about basically crochet as a business. Selling your works like to craft fairs, vendors, online stuff like that. And Joni is one that will probably be coming live with me on doing that, because we've been talking about it. Um, I have a few different people that will, are going to be coming live with me at different times talking about it. Um, and some of y'all ideas that y'all mentioned, I have a list here. So I'm trying to work on giving y'all what y'all want. See, here's my list. um, like I said, some stuff, it will take me more time to get to, but I am trying to get to what y'all want. I mean, some stuff it may take 6 months, but it is on my list to do. Let's see. Suzanne says, when you're on here, you seem very secure and open. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, because I'm like, I get social anxiety big time. Yeah. Let's see. And I don't know if I actually officially told you hello, Joni, but if I didn't, howdy, howdy. And let us know what you're working on, what's in your coffee cup. Okay, Angel Renee, I hope you have a good day and thank you. Yeah, I won't be too much longer. I'm starting to go into the winding down process. Um, Joni says, I love that you do the shares. I enjoy seeing what people make. And it's really fun when it's a yarn I've got chilling out and can't think of what to do with it. And that's the thing, too. You know, it gives people ideas of things to make. Like you may see like a pattern. Um, Maybe it's a vampire, and you didn't think about making a vampire. And the next thing you know, you go searching for patterns for vampires. Yeah, awesome, Joni. I'm looking forward to it too. Awesome, Angela. Awesome, awesome. But yeah, that like I said, those are some things that I'm trying to make happen. Um, let's see. Is there anything else I need to tell y'all? I think that pretty much covers everything. Let me look over my notes again. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Um, let's see, Joni saying, I'm actually getting ready to head out to Hobby Lobby. You keeping me company while I patiently wait to leave. Have fun at Hobby Lobby. Get your yarn on. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoy today's live. And let me know of topics that you would want me to share in future lives. Because, like I said, I do want to start incorporating topics also on my Thursday and Saturday lives. Now, it's not going to be like Mondays, like I really tend to dive more into things. You know, I still want to kind of keep things, you know, casual, have some fun chit chat, like how we were talking about garbage pickup at the beginning of my life. Yeah, there's drama in my town for those that missed that. But yeah, I want to thank y'all all for watching today. I enjoyed chatting with y'all, and those that watch the replay, welcome, welcome. Please leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know you watched. Um, if you have questions about knitting needles, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll get back to you, or you can email me. But yeah, I hope y'all all have a fabulous rainy day. Be the light and bye.